It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in.
Got you. So talk to us about your first flip.
My first flip, it was actually what was the situation with that one? That one, I believe the owner had passed away. Yeah, so the owner had passed away. The heirs didn't really want anything to do at the house, with the house. I would say the main heir, there's always like the one that's in
Mhm.
charge. She was out of state and, was willing to work with me. So I purchased that property. I'm trying to remember the numbers on that one. I think I want to say I purchased it for like 280-ish,
Mhm.
something like that. I put about like 65 of work into it. It was a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. It had a extra like den on the back, so I made that a fourth bedroom. And then I sold it. I would say, I want to say that took me about like 5 months, and I sold it for about like slightly under 500.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty good. And did you utilize like hard money for that one?
Yeah, so I utilized hard money. And it was hard trying to find someone who was willing to take a chance on someone who had not done a flip before. So I think my hard money rate at that time was 16% in 1 point, which compared to today's rates of hard money is like today's rates of hard money is anywhere between like 8 and 10. So at that time, 16% was extremely, extremely crazy high. But to me, again, it was one of those things where it's like I went into it with the mindset of, look, if I made absolutely zero money, like I would still be okay with that, because there's people who invest in like, 30, 40, $50,000 programs, and they don't actually do a deal. So to me, I was like, look, if I go into this and I don't make any money, even if I took a loss of like $3 or $5,000, which I don't think I would, because why would a hard money lender underwrite the deal? So I felt confident going forward, but I told myself, like, even if I took a little bit of loss, like the education that I would have gained would like be so far ahead of like had I not just, took the plunge, that I was okay with it. So I just went for it, and I was scared. I was nervous. I've never flipped a house before. I'm thinking like, oh my God, what if something happens? But at the end of the day, I was like, look, I may not know the answer. Somebody out there knows the answer, right? Like
Yeah.
everything is figure outable. You may
Hmm.
not know how to figure it out, but somebody out there knows how to figure it out and knows how, knows what the answer is. So that was just sort of the mentality that I had going into that project. you know, um, I ended up making a profit on it, so I didn't take a loss. But yeah,
Awesome, awesome. And how long ago was that? Your first flip?
like 5 years ago.
Got you, got you, got you. So being like a new flipper, how did you manage the project? Like, how did you like find a contractor? How did you like figure all that out? Just that being your first time, did you have somebody like helping you out, or did you just like kind of research what you could and took it from there?
Well, like I tried to, so the cash buyer that I had from one of my first wholesales I did, I would just sort of, talk to them and, see if they had any referrals, talk to other flippers, see if they had any referrals. And just even just talking to like, hey, if I knew a towel guy, hey, Mr. Towel Guy, do you know a floor guy? Do a floor guy? Do you know a general contractor? Just always asking and stuff like that. So, I finally met a GC, properly vetted him and everything. So it ended up working out.
Definitely. Were there any hiccups during that first flip or things that came up from it you can recall that you didn't maybe didn't account for or just didn't expect?
Um, I would say one of the things was I closed on the property. I forget what month it was, but when I closed on it, there was still some occupants inside who didn't leave until 3 months later. So I never dealt with that situation before. So I had to end up like, look, here's some money, just go. So I ended up doing that. And even with that situation, like he kept telling me I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave. And then like one day I was just like, look, like, what do you really need? Like, what do you really need? He's like, look, I've never been on my own. Like, I've always had my family to support me. Like, if you need me to leave, I need like a car, and I need like, some money for a down payment for rent or whatever. So I was like, okay, let's go car shopping and let's go get you, some down money payment for your rent. So I mean, in that I learned that, never take possession of a property unless it's delivered vacant. And number two, talking to people and seeing what they really want and what they really need, to just kind of like help them in the situation. Like once I did that, he was gone in like 3 weeks, and I'm like, well, dang, I could have did this like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I kind of learned from that situation. What else? I think one time, like just some other things of just like, construction stuff happens, right? Like one time they were changing a window or something, and the window completely broke. So that was something that I didn't budget for, but I had to pay for. So just making sure, moving forward, I have a line item in my budget for, those oh snaps, we didn't think about this, or moments like that you don't anticipate. So I would say those were probably like my biggest lessons that I could remember um from that first flip. And then just at the end, just making sure we got multiple offers on that property, so it's like just making sure you put out a quality product people would like. So those are, I would say, is probably like my top 3 lessons that I got from that first flip.
Are you looking for a community of like-minded individuals and access to experts in real estate?
Yeah.
Are you interested in real estate but need more support and guidance?
You know who it is?
The Black Real Estate Dialogue presents the Real Estate Investing Community. No matter how much or how little real estate experience you have, we've created a community for you because your perspective is important. Alright, tell me, where's the number one place where you can do Q&A with experienced guest speakers 2 times per month? How about unlimited access to past guest speakers' recordings? What about a private Slack channel to engage in daily discussion with everybody in the community to share resources and support each other? Head on over to blackrealestatedialogue.com. That's blackrealestatedialogue.com. It's the real estate investing community presented by the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Come join us today.
Seems like you learned there were a lot of lessons to take from that first transaction, but at the same time, it must have felt great just to finally, you were doing the research and studying, and it must have felt great to finally have purchased something to finally see the rehab through and have someone in it when all was said and done.
Yeah, no, I mean that honestly, that is probably one of the key factors in why I'm able to rehab like I do now and how I'm able to handle properties, because I know firsthand what it takes to rehab a property. I know the costs associated. I know things that pop up that aren't foreseen. And it really just gives you that, what a lot of gurus preach is that skin in the game aspect of things. It's like I went through everything. Like when I literally blood, sweat, and tears, I literally experienced that with that property. Like it's really nothing that I haven't done now to this point. So it's definitely gratifying to when I finally, especially it took a year. So to know that and to have it and for it to still be generating income for me at this point, no, it's a ton of lessons learned. It's a lot, like there's no losses, even though,
Yep.
are technically losses, but it's all lessons. And I definitely appreciate it for sure.
For sure. And what was it like just being a new investor and just taking the rehab into your own hands? What was that experience like? Just figuring out, like, how much rehab did it need, and what was it like just figuring out how to get it done?
So it wasn't, the property itself wasn't too bad. Like the owner they had took a certain care for the property, but it had been vacant for like 4 years before I bought it. Luckily, like I say, it was 2 doors down from the house that I grew up in. So I knew the neighborhood. I had already seen the house prior to buying it. So I kind of knew what it needed. But I mean, I had to redo, basically, I touched everything in the house. The kitchen, I demoed the bathroom, there was paneling all on the walls. I pulled all that off, which in turn caused me more rehab costs because the owner, he took so much care of it. I don't know what type of adhesive he used to put those paneling up, but when I pulled it off, the sheetrock came down. So that it was a ton of patchwork that was needed after I pulled that paneling down. So that cost me more money. Like I say, I demoed the bathroom, the bedrooms, new paint. I had to sand all the floors. The basement, I had to redo everything. Had to redo the electrical, plumbing. Had to paint the basement. New furnace, new hot water tank. The garage was, it needed a lot of maintenance from not being taken care of for that long of being vacant. There were, when I bought it, in the backyard, it was like a jungle, like literally. I had to get like two dumpsters just for outside waste. So it was a nice size rehab. It could have, if I had a team, I would have been able to do it a lot sooner. Luckily, I did have, I was able to do some of it. I had friends that were helping me rehab, and then I had my uncle. So, but all in all, I mean, just doing a rehab, especially your first property, it was rough. Like I say, it was really blood, sweat, and tears. The benefit is that I paid $1,000 for the house, so it's almost like you can't lose at that point when you know you can rent the house for $650, $700.
Right.
So,
for sure. How much rehab do you think you put into the house?
it was about 15,000.
Okay.
And I use, one of the things too, though, I use credit cards to do it, which I probably would not, if I could rewind time, I wouldn't do it that way. Just because I was, just learning. That was my first one. A lot of people were telling me, yeah, just use your credit cards. That's like free money to a certain extent, yeah, but it's a rental. So it's not like I get all that money lump sum back. It's like I got this huge rehab that I spent all this money on, and I'm getting monthly payments. So it was definitely a learning curve. I would never buy a rental with credit cards again.
Definitely.
Or rehab a rental with credit cards.
Definitely.
Yeah,
So you,
when you look at that, $1,000,
mhm.
$15,000 in rehab, and it's rented out for $675. It's been rented out since 2016. So I've got my money back.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you got that first one under your belt, and I know you mentioned you're in 3 different aspects. So you're in wholesaling, you're in buy and hold, and also buying and flipping. So where did the journey go from there after acquiring that first property?
It went straight to mainly wholesaling. That and that I give that to Jay. Like I say, that's how he taught us. Is you start off wholesaling because it's the lowest barrier of entry. You can get in, especially at that time, 2014, 2015. I mean, you could start a marketing campaign for $500, or you could do things for free, or you could put out some bandit signs for a couple $100. The only thing you're doing is, you're spending your time. And then from there, you go to, all right, you build up that bag of money to be able to either put a down payment down, or you have enough money to partner with someone else to go into rehab. And then from there, once you've flipped bigger bags, now you have enough money to buy a property outright, renovate, and then put a tenant in there and hold it. And then from there, you go to commercial. So that was the way he taught. And honestly, that's literally the way I pursued things. So wholesaling was the next aspect for me.
For sure. And so for you starting off in wholesaling, what was it like just to, figure out how to do it in your market, figure out how to find buyers and everything? What was that experience like for you?
So it was rough initially because, like I say, I started off with Jay, and Jay at the time he was a national brand like he is now. And then I joined another school or gurus systems, and they were national. And they were all basically preaching the same thing to this, the process of doing it, but none of it was specific to what I was experiencing in Detroit. So it was tough for me because not only was it not specific to my market, I didn't have the mindset to understand that, all right, yeah, I got to put out bandit signs, but I got to do this literally every week.
Yeah.
I need to be sending mailers literally every month, or I need to be posting on Craigslist literally every day. Like, it was things that for me internally, I wasn't prepared for. I was asking for things that I wasn't ready for, honestly. So it was tough. Like I said, I started learning in 2014. It took me to 2016. I bought my house a year later. I didn't finish rehab until 2016. It wasn't until really 2017 when I really got intentional about the wholesaling process and what it would take to truly get a deal and really be consistent with my marketing. So it was tough those first few years. And then 2017 was when I really, like I say, got consistent. My mindset really, really changed, or it graduated from the years prior to that. And I really got serious about it, really.
For sure.
Hi everyone, Sam here from the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Make sure to hit that notification bell and that subscribe button and to visit us at blackrealestatedialogue.com.